Speaking of business, I was surprised actually that Devin said the only road back is through you. I mean, that's not a quote, but he said this is the fight he wants. This is the only fight for him next. I mean, are you surprised by that?
No, I mean, the only way he's going to get any respect is to fight me again and try to do better. So I could see why he would say that. But for me, so that could happen. I mean, first and foremost, he needs to drop the lawsuit, even if he wants to have a conversation about it.
He's put his own stipulations on it, saying, he's going to demand, 24-hour drug testing all the way leading up.
I'll put my predicaments on it. We won't be using VADA. I'll be using the people I want to use, because for some reason, Bill Haney keeps on saying VADA, 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 VADA. It's kind of strange to me. Why can't I use USADA or any other organization? Seems a little fishy to me that they love VADA and VADA loves them. I mean, that was my best victory and they took it away. So yeah, I'm a little salty about it, and I'll never use VADA again, because to me that's fishy.
What do you think is the answer to those questions?
I'm not going to make accusations. Obviously, they're suing me already, so I'm just going to keep it shut and just say, I don't know what happened.
Ryan said all of that just to fail the New York State Athletic Commission test for all strain that had nothing to do with VADA. Breaking news, Devin Haney came out revealing that Ryan Garcia is putting the rematch in jeopardy because he's refusing to enroll with VADA. The irony part about it all is Ryan keeps complaining about enrolling with VADA, but he wouldn't even enroll with USADA. Now, even though a cheater has no room to demand anything, the irony part about it all, Ryan keeps screaming that VADA is corrupted, this, that, and the third, even though every other boxer uses it. Meanwhile, Ryan failed the New York State Athletic Commission test that has nothing to do with VADA. For the people that's not informed, Ryan officially failed his third test. Not his first, not his second, but his third for all strain with the New York State Athletic Commission. This testing had nothing to do with VADA. It was solely the New York State Athletic Commission testing. And Ryan also failed that. This is why Ryan has no room to speak, to demand, or to say anything. In fact, everyone involved, including Ryan, the race fans, the media, the networks, the promoters, the lawyers, everyone knows Ryan is guilty for cheating. After all, he pleaded guilty to cheating to the New York State Athletic Commission and even paid over $1 million for his guilty settlement agreement, so they won't give him a harsh suspension and would take it lightly on him, which they did. This is what makes the sport of boxing so corrupted. Even though Ryan failed the New York State Athletic Commission test, Ryan, during his suspension, was not forced to enroll with VADA or anything, which is why I wish Devin never dropped his lawsuit against Ryan Garcia in order to get the rematch, because the New York State Athletic Commission needs to be investigated along with all the corruption that's going on behind closed doors. Just like this one I pointed out. For the people that's not informed, after Ryan failed the first test by VADA for all strain, Ryan obviously denied that he took anything. He said, I never took supplements, and this was either a mistake or someone set me up. VADA set me up, Bill set me up, Devin Haney set me up, Victor Conti. So he started trolling. Then all of a sudden, Ryan went from saying he never took supplements to claiming that it was this supplement. And then that company came out debunking what Ryan said. Then he blamed it on another supplement. Then that company came out debunking what Ryan said. Then he blamed it on a third supplement. Then that company came out debunking what Ryan said. In the meantime, since Ryan was living in denial and was denying that he failed the test to begin with, obviously they opened his B sample. And not just that. The New York State Athletic Commission also had a B sample. But the key difference, when the New York State Athletic Commission tested Ryan the first time, they did not test for all strain, since the New York State Athletic Commission don't test for everything, unlike VADA. So what they did the second time, to make sure there is no funny business, the New York State Athletic Commission tested the B sample that they did specifically for all strain and obviously other PEDs, but they focused on all strain, unlike they did before. Because originally, like I said before, the New York State Athletic Commission do some light testing where they don't test for everything. And that's why Ryan doesn't want to get tested by VADA and use a third party who don't test for all of the PEDs in the market, like all strain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, after Ryan passed the New York State Athletic Commission A sample, they tested his B sample specifically for all strain, since they don't test for all strain. And when they tested his B sample for all strain, Ryan B sample came out positive, just like VADA. Therefore, Ryan actually has 3 failed tests, not 2, but 3. 2 from VADA, the A and the B sample, for 2 different days. And obviously, he failed a 3rd test by the New York State Athletic Commission, not the A sample. Like I explained before, the New York State Athletic Commission do some light testing. So the A sample, they did not test for all strain and majority of the PEDs that was in the market. But when Ryan failed the VADA tests, that's when the New York State Athletic Commission made sure to test for all strain and majority of the PEDs that was in the market when they tested the B sample. And Lord behold, guess what? Ryan also failed the New York State Athletic Commission test for the B sample for all strain. This is the exact reason why Ryan does not want to test with VADA, who tests for everything. They do heavy testing. They do not play. Instead, Ryan is begging and demanding to do a third-party test, who do not test for everything, who only do light testing so Ryan could find a rare PED to use. Stuff like this could be used in court. What Ryan is saying right now, if Devin never dropped the lawsuit, he could use what Ryan is saying right now in court. Like I said before, everyone knows Ryan cheated, since after he failed 3 tests, he ended up tampering with one of his supplements, which the company that Ryan blamed the tampered supplement for ended up pulling out the lot number for that supplement, proving that it had no all strain or any type of PED in it. Therefore, Ryan was tampering with his own evidence when he was providing it to the New York State Athletic Commission, which is why he pleaded guilty to cheating. He was cornered. And not just that, even when he's speaking now, talking about, I don't want to do VADA testing. But ironically, you failed the New York State Athletic Commission test, who had nothing to do with VADA. So clearly, this is not a VADA issue. This is a cheating issue. You don't want to stop taking PEDs. That's why you don't want to get tested by VADA or even maybe USADA. But instead, Ryan wants to use a third party that do not test for all of the PEDs that's banned. This could be easily proven in court using Ryan on audio right here, talking about, I don't want to do VADA, even though you failed the New York State Athletic Commission testing too. You see, the reason why Ryan doesn't want to use VADA testing, but a third party instead who don't test for all of the PEDs, is the same reason why Ryan passed the New York State Athletic Commission test for the A sample, but not the B sample, since the New York State Athletic Commission do not test for all of the PEDs, but they had to for the B sample, since Ryan was trolling and claiming that VADA set him up with Devin Haney, Victor Conti, and Bill Haney. Furthermore, for Devin Haney to agree to drop the lawsuit against Ryan and pause it for 3 months for the moment in time, before Ryan even enrolls with VADA, is mind-blowing to me. Why would you agree to such thing when Ryan haven't enrolled with VADA yet? This is why Devin keeps resorting to tell the fans that the only thing that's holding up the rematch is obviously Ryan refusing to enroll with VADA. That's what's putting the rematch in jeopardy at the moment in time. But it should be Ryan who's begging Devin Haney to do something, not the other way around. However, if you drop the lawsuit, if you drop your leverage, then you have no say-so. And that's Devin Haney right now. All of the race fans that was dissing Haney for suing Ryan, calling him a police officer, calling him soft, this, that, and the third. Ironically, these same fans are also trashing Devin Haney and still dissing Devin Haney for wanting to get it back in blood to the point where he's doing anything and everything. They still dissing Devin Haney and supporting Ryan, telling Devin Haney, fight Ryan on PEDs. So what? Ryan doesn't have to enroll with VADA. You set him up with VADA, saying silly stuff, still trolling him till this day. That's why you got to keep things in your hand, not other people's hands. If I was Devin Haney, I wouldn't have dropped anything. I don't care if the rematch was on the line. I would have told Ryan, bro, you fighting me and this lawsuit is going to stand. If you want this lawsuit to drop, I'm getting 80% of that purse. Or I'm getting future purses of yours. Something crazy. I'm not just going to drop it like that. But anyways, so many things could go wrong. You can put it in God's hands and pray that it will go your way. But at the end of the day, what's the point of doing all of this, pausing the lawsuit in court, this, that, and the third, just for Ryan not to enroll with VADA right now, which that's what Devin Haney is requesting and demanding him to do. Just like Ryan is demanding him to drop the lawsuit, Devin demanded him to do VADA, and Ryan said no. So negotiations should have stopped there when it comes to dropping the lawsuit. That's first of all. Second of all, let's say Ryan does enroll with VADA, but he lost to Isaac Cruz. So you dropped the lawsuit for nothing? Because that ruined the rematch. This is what I mean. So many things could go wrong. First of all, Ryan has to fight Isaac Cruz. Ryan already said Isaac Cruz is a C-level fighter. This, that, and the third. But either Ryan is going to knock out Isaac Cruz, or if Isaac Cruz is able to take Ryan punches, better yet, not get hit by them clean and block them, at that point, if Isaac Cruz is able to close the gap and make it an inside fight, he can expose Ryan in that department. Let's not forget, Ryan has zero inside game. That Philly shell that he does, Pitbull Cruz is going to kill him in that shell. Therefore, due to Ryan's zero inside game, either he's going to knock out Isaac Cruz while Isaac Cruz is trying to close the gap, or if Isaac Cruz is successful at closing the gap without getting hit with nothing clean, you best believe either Ryan is going to get exposed, lose in a terrible way, which is a KO, or win in a terrible way by looking terrible against Isaac Cruz, which by doing so is going to jeopardize the rematch anyway with Devin Haney, because people are going to take away from the Devin Haney victory in the rematch. Under these circumstances, does dropping the lawsuit sounds good or pausing it? Especially when Ryan haven't even enrolled with VADA yet. When you do a deal with the devil, you better be careful. Because that's what doing a deal with Ryan is. It's like doing a deal with the devil. You never know what you're going to expect. Listen, at the very least, the tune-up fights are actually tough fights for both Ryan and Devin. Devin has a tough fight ahead of him, especially at Devin Haney with a question mark. The original Devin, the Devin before the Ryan fight, he will smoke Ramirez. But let's see how Devin recovered from Ryan cheating him in the first fight. Let's see if Devin Haney is still the same. I think he is. I think the type of fighter Devin Haney is. What happened in the first fight is going to make him more focused in the ring and outside of the ring. So I think it's going to make him even better, which is the last thing fighters want, including Ryan. It's going to be interesting to see how Devin Haney looks against Ramirez and how Ryan looks against Isaac Cruz. They both fighting in May, and the rematch is supposed to be set in October. Turkey announced that on the same card, he's trying to host Teofimo Lopez versus Jaron Ennis on the rematch between Devin Haney and Ryan, which that's going to be massive. Till then, though, I wish that the Ring Magazine is going to be more weekly fights, and then Riyadh season is this mega pay-per-view cards that are stacked up and loaded up 3 to 4 times a year. But that's it though. On the other hand, we need weekly fights. We can't go months without watching boxing and then have one big card only. We gotta have weekly fights like every other sport, how they have weekly matches. We need that in the sport on consistent basis. Hopefully that's what Turkey Vision is with the Ring magazine. Hopefully in May, Devin Haney, Ryan, and Teofimo Lopez all have their separate cards. More importantly, Devin and Ryan, because these fights they have are actually good main events. On regular DAZN, a week apart. That's gonna help build the anticipation, etc., etc., etc. We need a schedule in the sport of boxing. For example, like consecutive months having weekly fights under the Ring magazine on free DAZN. And then when they need to host a pay-per-view events, a stag card, they could do that on Reality Season. I think that's the perfect balance for the sport of boxing that the fans need. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. What is your thoughts on Ryan complaining about VADA, even though he failed the New York State Athletic Commission testing as well for the B sample when he tested positive for all strain, just like he did with VADA? When will the hypocrisy and the lies stop? It shouldn't stop before the lawsuit though, that's for sure. Subscribe below and to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
As we said, like, we know why Devin needs this rematch, but with all that you just said, is it not true that you need that rematch too for vindication if you beat him clean and can prove you're clean, whichever body does the testing? Is that not as important to you?
Not really. I mean, for me, I just want to continue to fight great fighters. Fighting Teofimo Lopez would be just as satisfying as me doing a rematch with Devin.
Here's the way it works, and I'm sure Chris also understands because Chris partially explained this to me as well. Here's how it works when you're microdosing. So you bigger dose off season, which is not when there's no fights and nobody's getting tested, because boxing is the Wild West and doesn't test in between fights. Yep. And then you're microdosing during camp, and when you're microdosing, it is trapped in the fat and therefore not going into your bloodstream, so therefore it's harder to catch you. When a fighter struggles to make weight, sometimes they're losing all that fat, and you get a little bit of tricklage coming out of the fat, and the drugs will come out in small spurts. That's why they're always caught in small doses. And people, the moronic part of the population will say, oh, that's not enough to help him. No, that's just the part that finally leaked
It's the leftovers, essentially.
Yes, and because they struggle in weight, which is also a typical thing when you start to think about it, why guys keep moving up in weight. So there's less struggles when they're doping to make weight, and therefore they keep moving up in weight and keep showing no signs of weakening and no signs of aging and no signs of, we don't have to name names. The boxing's rife with it, you know? But nonetheless, now when I started to learn this part, because every single time a guy fails, I'm always asking questions and I'm always learning a little bit more. And this time, when it came to this microdosing situation, it's a big way to beat even the random drug tests, because it's not going to show up unless you're really draining yourself. So therefore, it makes sense why guys keep moving up in weight. So Ryan was struggling to make the weight, and he failed right at the end. But he passed in the middle of camp. This kind of explanation is an explanation worth looking into when it comes to his failed B test, B sample. As for the lawyers, they're going to play lawyer and they're going to manipulate it as much as possible and mention that he passed those tests in the middle of camp. Well, I just explained to you in the method that microdosing work why he would have passed the tests in the middle of camp but failed at the very end. Because at the very end was when he was drained. Remember, he struggled to make weight. He was drained, and therefore the substances start coming out, which also explains why he's now talking about fighting at welterweight, junior middleweight, super middleweight against Benavidez. You also get a little bit of sense of why he would do that as well if this is the case. So once you know how the science of it works, you start to really put things together. You can reach your own conclusions. If you want to be a groupie, you can and reach no conclusions. But I'm the person who's going to keep thinking about and keep thinking about not just fighters now, like Ryan, but also fighters in the past, fighters that have failed, fighters that have not failed, and so on and so forth. Really puts a light bulb over the situation.
Have you had a chance to talk to Saul, to Canal, Ryan? Have you had a chance to talk to him?
Hey, what if a boxing league? Imagine a boxing league where you can do steroids. That'd be cool.
I think they have it's called the enhanced game.
No, it's called Pride FC in Japan.
Is it?
Yeah, Pride.
That shit's nuts, huh?
Pride in the contract said you're allowed to use steroids. Hey, that's the only way it's even. Let everyone juice.
I think you've been in the ring with someone that sounds
Oh yeah, I thought Oscar Dortmund was scared of that fight. That motherfucker is crazy.
Why?
I hit him with some shit,
Yeah.
bro. This thing.
Terminated.
I'm not, okay, bro. Relax.